Shalom Uvracha from Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. This evening we are privileged to study together the Haftarah of Parashat Vayera. And this evening I hope helping me, assisting me in the study will be, thank God, our dear son Eliyahu and our dear son David. I hope that you'll have, if you have anything to say, you'll teach us also. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. The Haftarah this week is taken from the 4th chapter of the book of Kings 2, Melachim Bet Perek Dalid, Parashat Vayera. Way to remember, just for those people trying to memorize the chapters of the Haftarah. The Haftarah is taken from chapter 4 of Kings 2, and Parashat Vayera is the 4th of the sections of the Torah.
And 4 letters in the name.
And 4 letters in the name, says Eliyahu. Okay. That's probably, there are many parashiyot with 4 letters, but okay, good. Vayera has 4 letters, says Eliyahu. Vayera is the 4th section of the Torah, and the Haftarah is taken from the chapter 4 of Kings 2. This evening's focus will be on the great woman that's described in her Haftarah, the woman of the city of Shunem, the Shunammite woman, who excelled in the outstanding level of kindness, of hospitality, that's focused on in our Haftarah study. Of course, that parallels the section of the Torah. As we mentioned in our introductory comments to the concept of Haftarah, often our rabbis sought to find a selection from the prophets which maintains a similar message to the reading of the Torah of that week. In Parashat Vayera, we read about the great hospitality of our father Avraham, and in the Haftarah of this Shabbat, we read about the outstanding hospitality of this great woman of Shunem, the Shunammite woman. With your permission, I'd like to focus on sentences 8, 9, and 10 of chapter 4, where the woman of Shunem is described in a term which is perhaps unparalleled in the entire Tanakh. She's spoken of as a woman who is a great woman. V'sham isha gedola, vayhi hayom, vayavor Elisha el Shunem. Elisha arrives in the city of Shunem, and there was this outstanding woman there. V'sham isha gedola, this very prominent woman, this distinguished woman, this great woman, this outstanding woman. What was so outstanding about her? Because she was ever so sensitive to the needs of the traveling prophet, who needed sources of hospitality, who needed arrangements for a place to stay and a place to eat. And the term that's used in sentence 8, you see it, Eliyahu? The term that's used in sentence 8, what does it say? Vatachzek bo lechal lachem. A term which I've thought about many times. It doesn't just say that she invited him in. In other words, he needed a place to eat. There are many people who need a place to eat, and there are many people who are willing to have guests. But what she did is outstanding, perhaps. What does that mean?
She held on to him.
She held on to him. What does it mean? She held on to him. She almost forced him to stay. What? To stay, yes. So there are different ways of inviting guests. You could, say, well, would you like dinner this evening? Maybe you'd like to join us for dinner. What's wrong with doing that? Why is that?
He's going to be embarrassed.
Yeah, they'll say yes, they'll say no, they won't, they will come, they won't. Well, vatachzek bo sounds almost as if she pressed him.
But can I ask a question? I'm just curious. What does this, somebody may be thinking, what does this have to do with prophecy?
Well, maybe the level
people
of the
say,
prophet,
well, is this prophecy? Is this?
Yes, I think that this is the prophetic message for all generations. I hope to develop in the course of the next few minutes about teaching us levels of how the Jewish people are supposed to behave, not just in the period of Elisha, but throughout history, as I hope to mention. So there was this great woman, Vatachzek bo, really a very unusual form of usage of a word. She constrained him. She prevailed upon him to join them, her and her husband, food provisions. And perhaps this is one of the secrets of the people who are chosen to teach us as models, as paradigms of chesed, such as Abraham. If you look in the parasha this week, Abraham is almost begging the guests, please, Im na matzati chen beinecha, al na ta'avor me'alav. Please don't leave. Please join us. It sounds very similar to the teaching of the prophet here, the teaching of the book of Melachim, where the great leader of chesed, the Shunamit woman, vatachzek bo lachalachem. There are some people when approached, can I please join you for dinner this evening? Maybe they'll say yes. Please, we'd like to send a guest to your house. Can we please send? Yes. But to be proactive, to go and to seek, as we read about our father Abraham in the parasha and the great Shunamit in the Haftarah, they're looking for opportunities. They love chesed. In the book of Micah we study, and hopefully one day when we study the Haftarah, maybe we'll mention it. There is a Haftarah taken from the book of Micha. He speaks about loving kindness. How do you say that in Hebrew? Love, yeah, Ahavat Chesed. Ahavat Chesed. The great sage, the Chafetz Chaim, wrote a book on kindness called Ahavat Chesed. And he explains it's not enough to just do kindness. You have to love doing chesed. And this woman, Vatachzek bo lachalachem, means that she insisted. And through this, of course, not in a rude way, not in an intrusive way, but in a way that made him feel comfortable enough to enjoy her offer. And therefore the pasuk says, therefore we read in sentence 8, that each and every time that he would pass by through the city of Shunem, Vayhi midei avro, Yasur shama lecholachem. He always came to the home of the Shunamit woman and her husband.
Why in the book it's always speaking about Avishag, the woman?
Not Avishag. There's a different. According to Chazal, it's related to Avishag, but there's no name.
Why is it about the woman and not about the husband?
And that's one of the things I was wanting to speak about, actually. That maybe in the parasha, it seems that Abraham is the dominant figure in Chesed. In the Haftarah, it seems that it's the woman. It's the Shunamit who's bringing her husband into the acts of Chesed, but she seems to be prevailing. She seems to be the one who's outstanding. The Gemara teaches in several places that often it is the woman who is on a higher level of Chesed. Often it is a woman who is on the higher level of Chesed than the man. Similar to the story in our Haftarah. She approaches her husband in sentence 9 and says, we have this prophet that's traveling by. It's not enough that we just give him meals. Let's arrange for him. Let's build him a separate apartment. What a wonderful insight into Chesed. What a wonderful insight into Chesed. Na'asena aliyat kir ktana. They had an attic. And they said, let's build the attic into an apartment. Because v'nasim lo sham mita shulchan v'shulchan v'kisei u'menorah. Let's give him his own space, his own privacy. What great insights into kindness, into hospitality. It's not enough just to invite someone for a meal. Where are they supposed to stay? And if they do stay, how comfortable they can feel if they have their own area, their own private apartment. And that's what she built for him. She said, Vaya b'vo'o elenu yasur shama, and she built a separate apartment. The rabbis teach about some of the greatest rabbis who were involved in giving charity to poor people. But they said that their wives, for instance, in Tractate Ketuvot, it speaks about how the wife was even on a greater level, because you can't eat the money that people give you for charity. You can't eat dollar bills. You can't eat shekalim. But the woman, let's say, for instance, in the case of Mar Ukva in Masechet Ketubot, the rabbis speak about Mar Ukva was on an excellent level of charity, but his wife was even on a higher level. I think that's reflected here in the Haftarah that we're studying. And the suggestion of building a separate apartment, I would like to say that maybe Michael asked, what does this have to do with prophetic messages? Maybe she's teaching us about different levels of how to do kindness forever. First of all, to always help the person feel so comfortable that they will arrive in your house. And secondly, to give people levels of privacy. Maybe everyone who's in the position to do so. I hope that all of Am Yisrael. I hope that all the Jews all over the world, and I hope all members of the human family, I hope everyone will be in a position to do so, to be able to have a separate, perhaps wing, a separate apartment, a separate section of their home for kindness. And maybe she uses the word tamid. He's always coming by. Over aleinu tamid. Over aleinu tamid. The rabbis say that sometimes having such a great guest in your home, tamid chacham, is the equivalent of bringing the daily offering. The same word, tamid. In both the parasha and the Haftarah, the couple that's involved, the couples that are involved in kindness, in hospitality and generosity, are blessed with one particular form of blessing. What's that? What happens to Abraham and Sarah? A child, right? They have a baby. Abraham and Sarah didn't have a child together. And the Shunamit woman and her husband also, they didn't have children before the story. And as a result of this story, they're blessed with a child. What's the connection? Why is it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why is it that God rewards them specifically with the greatest of gifts, the gift of a child, the gift of a baby? And it has been suggested that when a person opens up their heart and opens up their home and opens up their facility to accommodate someone to come into their home, then God says, oh, you're willing to take people into your home? I would like to give you the greatest gift of all. I'd like to give you the greatest guest of all. I'm going to send you a guest to come into your home. And the name of that guest is a newborn baby. Abraham and Sarah show kindness in the parasha to those guests traveling, the wayfarers, and they're then blessed with that special gift of the baby. And in our Haftarah, so does the Shunamit woman together with her husband. And as a result of that, they are blessed with a baby. May all the couples in the world who are trying so hard, struggling so hard to have children, may God open all levels of blessing for them immediately. May they be blessed with happy, healthy children. And may we learn from the great lessons of the Shunamit, lessons of kindness and sensitivity and generosity in our attempts to try to bring everyone into our homes. You know, because every act of hachnasat orchim, every act of hospitality, is really a form of imitatio Dei. We are all imitating or trying to imitate the ways of God, because this whole world is one big hospitality center. God has 7 billion guests in God's hospitality center. Each of us should try his and her best to follow the ways of Hashem and to be sensitive, as was Abraham, as was the Shunamit, in levels of Achnasat Orchim in the Haftarah of Parashat Vayera. Thank you so much for listening. Shalom.